Okay, today I'll be reading from a book called Unveiled Mysteries. It's written by Godfrey Ray King. Um, and it's very informative on and practical instruction so you understand the world around you at a higher perceptive rate. Well, here we go. Yes, I replied. I have a question that's been holding my attention for some time, and it's concerning visualization. What is true visualization? What happens when one does visualize? True visualization, he answered, is God's attribute of power and sight acting in the mind of man. Constantly pictures in his mind desire he wishes fulfilled, he using one of the most powerful means of bringing to visible, tangible experience. There is much confusion and uncertainty in minds of many concerning what actually happens when one visualizes or makes a mental picture of something he desires. No form ever came into existence anywhere in the universe that unless someone had consciously held a picture of that form in his thought, for every thought contains a picture of the idea within it. Even an abstract thought had a picture of some kind, or at least a picture as one's mental concept of it. I will give you an exercise by which one may develop, consciously control, and direct his visualizing activities for definite accomplishment. There are several steps to the process which every student can use at any and all times. The practice does bring visible, tangible results when really applied. The first step is to determine upon a definite plan or desire to be fulfilled. In this, see that in your constructive, honorable, and worthy of your time and effort. Be sure to examine your motive for bringing such a creation into expression. It must be honest both toward yourself and the rest of the world, not really to follow a whim, or gratify appetites of the physical senses. Remember, there is a vast difference between use, desire, and appetite. Use is the fulfilling of the great universal law of service. Desire is the expanding activity of God through which manifestation is constantly sustained and perfection enlarging itself. Appetite is but habit, established by a controlled gratification of the feeling nature, and is energy focused and qualified by suggestions from the outer activity of life. Be very sure there is no lurking feeling within you will be glad to benefit at the expense of another. A real student, only such a one, will benefit out of this kind of training. Takes the reins into his own hands, and turns discipline and consciously control the human self. He chooses what shall or shall not be in his world, and through the process of picturing within his mind designs and brings to manifestation a definitely determined plan of life. The second step is to state your plan in words as concisely and clearly as possible. Write this down. Thus you make a record of your desire in the outer, visible, tangible world. The third step is to close the eyes and see within your mind a mental picture of your desire or plan in its finished, perfected condition activity. Contemplate the fact that your ability to create and see a picture within your consciousness is God's attribute of sight acting in you. The activity of seeing and the power to create are attributes of your God self, which you know and feels within you at all times. God's life and power acting within your consciousness to repel into your outer world the picture you are seeing and feeling within yourself. Keep in mind the intellect that the ability to picture is an attribute of God. The attribute of sight, the power to feel, experience, and associate with the power and associate with the perfected picture is God's power. The substance used in your world without to make the form in your picture and plan is God's pure substance. Then you must know God is the doer, the doing and the deed of every constructive form and action that's ever been made set forth into the world of manifestation. When you use all of these constructive processes, it's impossible for your plan not to come into your visible world. That's just a very tiny excerpt. The entire book is stuffed with gems and goodies that you may read once and not get. I've read this book probably 10 or 12 times. You just don't get everything the first time. All of my books really that are associated with this activity. And it's such a blessing to the world. You never get any recognition from it, or worldly recognition is what everyone seems to be going for on the social medias. But what you do find is you clear your chakras, you'll walk in the light, you'll walk with by faith, not by sight, and you will have guidance because your mind will be attuned to the activity of your higher mental self, which will allow you the bliss to co-create with God. And that's been a blessing for me, and I'm glad I can share it with others. Thank you so much.